Okay, so this is a quick video on making forms. Since a few of you seem to be struggling a little bit with it, it's probably just more to do with what you've named something or where you've put some code or you've not followed everything meticulously. So what I've done is I've created a blank form. There's nothing new, there's no code in the background, it's completely empty, just so we can go through the basics. If you're ever struggling with something, this is the easiest way to fix it. You create a new project and just target the one little bit that's not working to help identify why it might not be going. So I've got a little text box, I have a button. I'm doing this for a reason, because I want to create the same form twice in two places so we can sort of prove a point. Last week when I was doing this, I was trying to help Leon, I noticed mine did crash if I rename something on the second form. So there we go, I've got a little button, not going to do anything right now. I'm going to nip into the code. I'm going to create a button, click ready. So public void click it. Click it needs a view, so it knows how to talk to the form itself. Okay, yep, usual alt and enter. So it's added the library I need. Oops, that's wrong, isn't it? There we go. I put a semicolon there for thinking I was calling a function. So in a minute we'll force that to open the second form. But the second form doesn't exist yet, so I'm just right clicking on app, new, come right down to activity, and again I want an empty activity. Main activity, I'm just going to leave it with the default name. Press finish, hopefully it won't take too long to compile. Okay, so I've now got my second form, first form. Now just like with the code that I've already provided, if we have a quick look at it, there we go, start activity, new intent, etc. So let's just go into our form code, start activity, hopefully this will finish it off for me in a minute, so I'll type it all, activity, new intent. So I can do it all kind of in one go. Now I've not memorised this code, I'll have a quick look at what I wrote before. Yep, main activity dot this, so main activity dot this. So this is the form I'm currently working on, and I want to open up the next one. So it's going to be main to activity dot class. Oops, spelled that wrong. So that should now work. Obviously, alt and enter. So that's starting off our intent. Now I think what I did before, and I'll go with more consistent, is I think in my tutorial last time I did say intent equals, and then I physically put that on a separate line. It shouldn't make any difference whatsoever, and I can just put that intent in there. There we go. So it's the same thing, I'm just separating it out so it's kind of one line at a time. So that should trigger our second form. Just to prove it actually not going to work yet, is it? I need to come back onto this form, click on the button, come down to on click, click it, there we go. I'm just going to try and run it. My phone's already plugged in, so hopefully it should only take a few seconds. I'm sorry I've not bothered to get a camera out so you can see my phone screen working. You'll have to just trust me that it does work. Obviously it's just taking a few seconds to compile. And then I'll just mention a little bit about how we send the messages between them, because again I think this is where the glitch for some of you is when you're trying to send a waypoint list. There was a change we had to make. Right, this is taking a while to compile. I think it's because this is a new project, it's time to download some updates. I'll just pause it while it runs. Okay, I think I'm recording, just double check. Yep, recording. So yeah, it's now come to my form. It only took about another 15-20 seconds. So I'm on the form, I'm pressing the button, and yes, it's launched the second form. So just, again, it's about taking it one step at a time. I've seen some of you just sort of blazing through, adding code and code and code, and never stopping to check. I always write one or two lines of code and then check it. So I'm in my second activity. I'm just now going to add another text view. In fact, I'm just going to confirm. Let's have a look. Yep, that's a text view. So on my second form, I'm going to add another text view. It needs to be constrained, so I'm just going to attach the top, attach the side, attach the side. I'm going to attach the bottom anyway, and I'm going to change that in a minute. I'll have another button, because again I think this is where sometimes the glitch is happening for some of you, where it crashes. Again, it is hard for me to figure out exactly why some of you are struggling, but I'm just going to guess. This text view it's already renamed text view 2, but if I try and rename this, let's just say I call it random text, and I press enter, it's this, and I think this is where the problem is. If we press yes, I think it tries to update too much. So if I just say no, it's not going to change anything at all, and then I've got to go into the code. Okay, why is that unhappy? Should use string. That shouldn't be really a problem for me right now, though. It's just because I've not anchored it properly. Oh, it's not showing me long enough. Hold on. I'm just going to pause while I figure it. Right, that's glitched because I changed the name of it, so it's confused the anchor point. If I just drag that again, it should fix itself. There we go, it sorted itself out. So I've now got two text box and a button. Should work just fine. Just remembering myself that that is called random text, because I'm going to go back to main activity 1. And I'm going to add intent dot is it put extra? Put extra. So I'm going to do, well, I'm not even going to let it fill in, I'm just going to put the brackets in, hard code it. So this is obviously what I'm calling the message. So I'm calling it message. The message I'm giving it is this text. Nothing clever. So that's putting it into it. If I now just go into my main activity 2, I can now try and get that instruction. Again, I don't memorise this code, so I'm just going to have a quick look at my other one that I've previously done. We know where it's coming from, intent.getIntent, so I'm going to grab that. I should be able to just copy. Now obviously this is just a string, it's not getting anything fancy. So if I just say code fragment, see, I don't want to import, yeah, I don't want to import, I'll do, yeah. Get intent, and now I can just say string, obviously I'm in the wrong language, it is a capital S. String, as you know, I like to call mine buffers if it's just random temporary stuff. I can just say intent dot get string. Should I get string on there? That should work. I'm going to give it a whirl though. So that should, it's not liking that. My mistake, it wants to know what the name is. If remember we called it message. So I just forgot to write that in, that's all. So if I just put message, spelled wrong, always check spellings, message, there we go, it should now put it, and I should in theory be able to put that into the text box to prove it works. So I'm just going to cheat again to save me typing lots out. I'm just going to grab, what am I going to grab? So I'm just grabbing the text view code so I don't have to rewrite it all. Back into my other one. So I'm in here. Yeah, we'll have that text view. Obviously I've not got one called text view because I called it random text, and I should be able to just go random text, not random text, what am I doing? Text view dot set text, dot text. Dot set text, and I should be able to put buffer into it. So hopefully, as I now just run that, I'm just going to obviously press play again. It's going to take a few seconds this time, and again you have to take my word for it working. Okay, it's come on my screen, so I'm going to press button 1. Oops, nope, it's just reloading, hold on. It just disappears, I went to press the button. Yep, that's worked, it sent that string across. So the problem that I think other people are having, and I'm not going to code all this out, I'm just going to highlight some points, is it's a lot of the changeover. As I said right back at the beginning, C waypoint, we have to say implement serializable. I'm fairly sure you all picked up on that. The key change that we had to do, and this wasn't in the original tutorial, but I've referenced it a few other times, we originally had our waypoint as just a list. That was happy. But it doesn't, but to serialize it, we need to say it's an array list. I don't know why, I just know this bit worked. So I've converted our waypoint list into an array list. So again, it's not the array thing that we did right back at the beginning of this unit. It's the list of it rather than array. So I come down, going past all that stuff, don't need that anymore. Obviously I created launch game, which was just because I put extra validation in. I wanted to add a little yes no box, do you really want to do it? Because I kept accidentally clicking form 2. So I can ignore all that. The main bit is down here, where it's just what we did on the first tutorial. Intent, put extra, but this time I can put the list, which of course we now know is an array list. That is really critical, that's what we do. And then we start the activity, and that should be fine. So at this point I would say check that with yours. Have a really empty second form. and just see if it's receiving that data. Obviously, if I go into mine and then back up here, I've been allowed to just create a list, so it's not an array list. Again, I figured this out by trial and error, so not an array list. And then finally I could say in the onCreate, intent equals get intent, waypoint list equals intent dot get serializable. And again, this is a typecast conversion, which is why I'm to write it before it, so it knows that's what's coming in. And that should be it. That should run. It's, you know, you've seen me code it, you've seen mine working. This code does work. So all I can suggest is build things up really slowly, really carefully, a couple of lines at a time. Okay, so I'm going to stop this video for a minute and I'll do a second one on the database stuff.